When the lights dimmed and the music started, everyone thought it would be just another breathtaking BTS performance. But what V did next on stage stunned millions. His voice trembled with emotion, his eyes reflected something deeper, something real. The crowd fell completely silent, and even Jungkook, standing just a few feet away, froze in disbelief. As V began to sing, the lyrics hit harder than anyone expected. Every word felt like a message, not just to the fans, but to Jungkook himself. You could see it in Jungkook's face, his eyes glistened, his lips trembled, and within seconds, he completely broke down in tears. The members tried to comfort him, but the emotion in the air was overwhelming. That night, something happened between V and Jungkook that fans are still talking about today. Was it a hidden message? A final goodbye? Or something even deeper that only the two of them understand? Stay until the end, because once you see what really happened on that stage, you'll never look at their bond the same way again. The stadium was packed. Fans held their light sticks high, waiting for the next stage. As the screen went black, a single spotlight appeared, and under it stood V. His posture was calm, but his eyes carried something heavy. The music started, slow and emotional. From that very first note, everyone knew this wasn't going to be an ordinary performance. V began to sing, and his voice cracked ever so slightly. It wasn't because of nerves, it was emotion. His tone was raw, filled with longing and pain. Every lyric sounded like a confession, and every look he gave toward Jungkook seemed to say 1,000 words. Cameras turned toward Jungkook. He stood motionless, eyes wide, as if time had stopped. His jaw clenched, trying to hold it together, but his heart was written all over his face. Fans noticed it instantly, something powerful was happening on that stage. As V continued, fans realized the lyrics mirrored moments from their past, the laughter, the late-night talks, the pain of distance. It felt as if V was singing directly to Jungkook, reminding him of everything they'd been through. When the chorus hit, Jungkook couldn't fight it anymore. His eyes filled with tears. He covered his face, trying to hide it from the cameras, but it was too late. The emotion overflowed. Armies watching live began crying too. It wasn't just a performance anymore, it was real. Jimin and Jin exchanged worried glances. J-Hope gently patted Jungkook's shoulder while trying to keep performing. The group understood this moment was deeply personal. No one dared interrupt the raw emotion unfolding before their eyes. As the final note echoed through the stadium, V looked straight at Jungkook. No words were spoken. Just a soft, emotional smile, the kind that said, "It's okay." The crowd erupted into applause, but V stood silently for a few seconds longer, as if he wanted Jungkook to know the message was meant for him alone. After the show, cameras caught Jungkook sitting backstage, still wiping his eyes. When asked what happened, he simply said, "That song, it meant something." And that's all he could say before turning away. Within minutes, the internet went wild. Armies began analyzing every lyric, every glance, every tear. Some said it was about friendship, others believed it was a confession, and a few thought it was V's way of saying something he couldn't say out loud. No matter what the truth was, one thing was clear, that stage performance revealed a bond that words could never describe. It wasn't just about music. It was about love, trust, and years of memories between two souls who grew up together under the spotlight. When the show ended, laughter and celebration filled the dressing room, except for one corner. Jungkook sat quietly, head down, lost in thought. The echoes of V's song still played in his mind. Every lyric felt like a memory replaying itself, and every word struck deeper than he expected. The room suddenly went silent when V entered. He didn't say anything at first. He just looked at Jungkook, the same soft gaze he had on stage. Without a word, he walked closer and placed his hand gently on Jungkook's shoulder. That small gesture said more than any sentence ever could. V finally whispered, "You felt it too, right?" Jungkook didn't answer. He just nodded, tears forming again. It wasn't about sadness, it was about understanding. In that moment, they didn't need to talk. They just understood each other completely. Later that night, fans discovered the song V sang wasn't just a random choice, it was one he'd written months ago, during a time when he and Jungkook weren't as close. The lyrics spoke of distance, forgiveness, and unspoken emotions, a story of reconnecting after silence. Social media exploded. Was this for Jungkook? Is this about their bond? Why did Jungkook cry so hard? Clips of the performance went viral within hours. Every eye contact, every lyric, every tear became a theory. Armies began to decode the story like detectives uncovering a secret. Weeks later, footage leaked from a rehearsal. In it, V was seen practicing the song alone, no backup dancers, no lights. Just him and a microphone. He stopped midway, wiped his eyes, and said quietly, "This one's for him." No one knew who him was until now. In an interview days after, Jungkook was asked about the performance. He smiled slightly and said, "Sometimes, the stage becomes a place to say things you can't say in words." It was short, but the meaning behind it shook everyone watching. Armies began comparing other past performances, finding moments where V and Jungkook seemed to communicate silently through glances, harmonies, or even lyrics. It wasn't just friendship, it was connection through music that words couldn't capture. Even days later, fans couldn't move on. Edits flooded TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Some called it the moment of the year. Others said it was proof of a bond beyond fame. The moment had transcended entertainment, it became a shared emotional experience for millions. Staff members later revealed that after the performance, V stayed behind on stage for a few minutes, looking out at the empty seats. One crew member said he whispered something like, "He'll understand one day." That one sentence added fuel to every fan theory online. A rumor spread among armies that V once wrote Jungkook a letter years ago but never gave it to him. Some fans began to believe that the song's lyrics were those exact words, turned into music instead of paper. A few nights later, Jungkook went live. The chat flooded with questions about the performance, but he kept smiling softly, occasionally humming the same melody V sang that night. When someone asked, "Do you miss him?" Jungkook simply whispered, "Always." Music speaks louder than messages. That one post broke the internet again. Fans connected it instantly to Jungkook's live, calling it their silent conversation. At their next group event, Jungkook and V stood side by side again. Fans noticed something different. The way they looked at each other wasn't awkward anymore. It was calm, warm, and peaceful, as if something that was broken had finally been healed. During interviews, both of them laughed more, joked more, and seemed closer than before. Fans couldn't help but notice how naturally they leaned on each other again, like the old days. It wasn't forced. It was real. Weeks later, a behind-the-scenes video showed V and Jungkook in the studio together, recording harmonies for a new track. Between takes, V smiled and said, "See? We sound better together." Jungkook laughed, replying, "We always did." Their new duet was released quietly, no heavy promotion, no press. Just music. But fans who listened closely could tell, it was filled with emotion, honesty, and closure. It was their way of saying we're okay now. V and Jungkook redefined brotherhood on stage the night BTS showed what love and friendship truly mean. Sometimes we drift, but that's how you know it's real. If it survives the silence, it's not just friendship, it's family. Fans cried again hearing those words. It confirmed everything they'd felt that night. Now, that one stage remains etched in BTS history, not for its choreography or visuals, but for its heart, because in those few minutes, V and Jungkook reminded the world that even in fame, noise, and distance, true connection never fades. And for armies, it wasn't just a performance, it was a story of love, forgiveness, and the unbreakable bond between two souls who grew together under the same spotlight.